when you and I started our course together, so what was your level at that time, and what was your goal?
At that point of time, my German was at the level of B11, and I had achieved that by going to evening courses on the university at the university. And my main goal was to achieve C1, and I had a very limited time for that. I think I had about 6 months to go from B11 to C1. Yes, that was
Yes.
my yeah, that was my goal at that
And
point.
you had also been out of class for a while by that point, right?
Right, right.
So,
That was something, yeah, that was very difficult for me in the beginning to adapt because I had B11, but I hadn't really been taking German classes for 1.5 years when we started. So it was difficult for me to sit at a place for 1.5 hours or for 2 hours and just learn German and
yeah.
even learn German in a structured and formal way.
Yeah, yeah. And so, what were your main problems in concerning the German language at that time when we first started?
I think in general, I was very confident with German, like speaking, but I used to always make a lot of mistakes with grammar. Also mein Problem war, dass ich vielleicht die Grammatikregel konnte, aber die konnte ich nicht richtig anwenden. And I just wouldn't notice it because I was so involved in the conversation. And I think the way you note down all the mistakes very attentively and not disturb your students while they speak, because I think you also believe that you have to let their thoughts flow freely. And then, yeah, that also makes the students very comfortable around you making mistakes. And I definitely felt that. So at the end of the hour, you always gave us feedback, also give me feedback with all the mistakes I made, and you wrote that in the document. And you could always go back there and then check out all the mistakes you did.
Yeah, and I also corrected the same mistakes a few times until it's
Again and again, exactly. Again and again until I learned it. That's true.
yeah. I mean, it takes time. It takes a few repetitions before, yeah.
Really does. But one good thing, or the best thing that I found that you write down all of these mistakes is before my exam, I made a comprehensive list of all the common mistakes that I did, and I made sure that when I spoke or when I wrote, that I would really take care of these mistakes, of
Oh,
these things that I want
nice.
to
Okay.
make these mistakes. I think that was also great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah. And another thing that we really had to work on because of the C1 level was the writing.
Oh,
So
yes.
can you talk a little bit about that? Like, what was your
Oh,
experience with
yes. Of
writing in
course, of
German?
course. I think with writing, Laura never had a deficit of topics. I think she had a plethora of topics that she wanted me to write on, and then she always gave me every weekend. I think the level also demanded that kind of homework.
Yeah.
So I think I had about 8 to 10 hours of homework, also because of the limited time frame. A
Yeah, so
lot of
let's just make that clear for the people listening. You not everybody has to do 10 hours of
exactly,
homework. This
yeah,
is
not
just if
everybody.
you want C1 in 6 months.
Exactly. And it's also good to know that somebody has already achieved that with
Yeah,
Laura. Like in 6 months, I think this was, for me, it was a very unimaginable feat. And then I think I did that. And then, yeah, with 6 months, we did that.
yeah.
I wouldn't say I did that. I would say we did that.
I yeah, I do give you a lot of credit for working really really hard, but I do agree we did it together.
That's what I've been telling the others too. Like I've also been, yeah, when somebody comes to me and they want to know somebody or they really have no idea how to learn German, and then I give them the few tips that I got from you. And also, if they're looking for a German teacher, I always say Laura,
Yeah.
and I do that. I do that with a lot of heart and passion because I never thought I would achieve this, and then again, yeah, I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
yeah,
No, I
it's
mean
not.
you were always a very strong student, but especially like I was worried in the beginning about your writing, but you really really worked hard on that. And I think I mean this is also something that I do apart from the corrections at the end of the class. I give the corrections, and then you had to correct your own mistakes in the
That's,
writing.
yeah,
Yeah,
true.
and
And then
not and you always did that. I think this was really important too. Yeah.
yeah, not just point out the mistakes or give the answers again by yourself, but you would always ask us, because sometimes when you're with the flow of thought or while having a conversation, you wouldn't really notice all the mistakes you're making or really think about all the grammar rules. But when you are not in that mindset and you're just asked, you said this, but do you think how it's actually said? But what is the right way of saying? And then most of the times, the students, they also have the time to think about it again, because sometimes when they use, we're either confused between two forms, either this or that. So then in the end, okay, it was not this but the other thing.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
also
That's
great. Yeah,
yeah.
du hast meinen Kurs auch sehr gut für mich angepasst, würde ich sagen. Also du hast immer die Grammatikteile hast du ein bisschen rausgenommen, die nicht so wichtig war, ganz am Anfang, und dann hast du das später auch nachgeholt. Du hast es nicht weggelassen oder so.
Ja.
And I could see how well you prepared the lessons and how structured and organized they were. And one thing that I really, really like, oh, there are so many things that I really like that I've been mentioning.
Okay,
Oh,
go.
one thing that I really like. One thing I really like. This has already been a lot of things. Yeah, but that's again a good thing with Laura. So you get a lot of good things that you really liked at the end of the day. Yeah. Um, I remember that after the first few classes, you noted down what my trouble areas were like, and then I saw that with the exercises, you made sure that you built these exercises again and again, so that these topics repeated. So
Mm.
these topics repeated again and again. So I had lots of practice. Of course, I made the mistakes again and again, but at some point of time, I learned that okay, this is her trick. This is how she's trying to prepare me for my exams
So
or
you
German.
figured out my strategy.
Ja, ich hätte gesagt, ohne Laura hätte ich das gar nicht geschafft. Ja, also du hast mich immer die ganze Zeit motiviert, auch wenn ich ein bisschen unmotiviert war oder wenn ich vielleicht gesagt habe, nee, ich möchte jetzt aufgeben, du hast nie gezweifelt, würde ich sagen. Und ja, du hast mich die ganze Zeit nur motiviert.
Ich habe auch nie an dir gezweifelt. Das, das habe ich auch ernst gemeint. Sehr
Trotzdem,
schön.
aber das war schon, dass du das gesagt hast, und auch wenn es Korrekturen gab oder wenn ich Vorschritte gemacht habe, hast du immer das ausgedruckt, also ausdrücklich gesagt, dass ja, hier hast du einen Vorschritt gemacht, und ja, ich glaube, man muss auch deine Vorschritte sehen und dann merkt man, dass ja, ich habe jetzt von ja irgendwas von daraus bekommen. Ja.
Ja, auf jeden Fall. Well, I guess it goes without saying that. Did you achieve your goal in the end?
Yes, I did. Yeah, my goal was also not to really excel at the language, or I don't know, get 100% or very good or something. For me, it would have been enough to even pass the exam. But I think I ended up with 80% in C1 with all that a little time that we had to prepare, and I was greatly satisfied. I still am very satisfied with my results and what we achieved. And I think after the exam, I even told you, and I'm still thinking of doing C2 sometime when I have the time. I'm very
Which
motivated to
was
do that.
I was honestly surprised to hear that after all the stress and how worried you were about the exam, immediately after
Yeah.
you said, I'm gonna go for C2.
Yeah, I think I get really worried about exams also because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist in that way. But and doing my homeworks, I used to always have a very schlechtes Gedächtnis. Now I don't remember the English
See,
words anymore.
guys, this is a very good sign. He does not speak English anymore, he only speaks German
Yeah,
now.
this happens to me all the time now. Like even after, like when we had classes, and then it was so often, like, and then even though we didn't have classes like for hours together, but I used to always be immersed in German homework or something. So I kind of forgot English words later.
Nice.
Which is not very bad. You will always remember the English words because you're consuming a lot of English content and you're speaking to your friends or family in English. But German, I think when you're living in Germany, it made a whole lot of difference for me. Like learning German, and not for my work, of course, it was needed. I had clauses in my Vertrag, in my contract, that I had to finish this in 6 months. But even after that, I think just the way I perceive the world around me has totally changed. I think language opens a lot of keys to you. I can understand radio programs. I can watch the television. I can watch German movies. I can eavesdrop on people on the tram or the train. So,
Which is, of course, the main goal that we want to achieve by learning
exactly.
German.
I mean,
Yes,
why,
very
why do you
important.
even learn a language if you cannot eavesdrop on people? So yeah. So
But you did
or
not learn that from me.
no. I only learned the necessary skills. I mean, I think it's very important. You would like to know if somebody's saying something mean about you.
Yeah,
Even
that
if
is
you
that is true.
so,
Just for protection purposes. Yes.
exactly, yeah. So I
Makes
think that's
sense.
a bonus.
Yeah, that
That
makes
comes up
sense.
with.
Very nice. Yeah, no, absolutely. I do agree that I mean, speaking a few like just from my own experiences learning different languages is it's such an amazing feeling when you walk around and you're like, yeah, I understand this, I understand that, I understand what's going on, and I can say whatever I want. It's
Yes.
amazing. Yeah.
Now I walk with my head held high and chest up to every Behörde that I have to go to, every authority that I go to. I speak German. You cannot discriminate anymore. I will fill all the formula you have, all the forms, and I'm going to ask you infinite number of questions in your language. So I think that's a very nice feeling.
That's definitely. I think a lot of people will relate to that. That this is an amazing feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
that's.
even with the yeah, but I don't know.
Do you feel like it has? I mean, this is a bit off topic, but do you feel like it has made dealing with Behörden easier?
Oh, definitely. I
Mm.
think when you speak the language, they even see you differently.
Yeah, yeah. I
Like,
was I was thinking that this would be the case.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Mm.
think they would take you more seriously first thing, and then they know that yeah, I don't know, they'll probably assume that you know your rights better if you know German, and then I think even if you just speak English, of course we would be aware of our rights, but we wouldn't just know how to communicate it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it gives you a medium of communication which really helps
Yeah,
you.
and I think
Uh,
it does make a big difference, as you said, that they just see you differently. Like it's
it
yeah.
totally does. I
Mm.
think it does, yeah. And for me, I mean, learning languages is also a passion of mine. I really liked it, but I had never, I mean, no, I think that would just be that would not be something I would take up for as a free time activity learning in 6 months from B1 to
No,
C1.
this is not something that people generally do in their free time. No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it was a wonderful experience, and I
that's
would
great.
definitely do it all over again without the stress part.
Yeah, yeah, that's yeah. For if you ever go for C2, we will take our time with that because that's
Yes, yes. I mean, I
and
already have my teacher. I don't have to, at least in the beginning for C1, I really had to look for a teacher. And now I have already found the teacher who also came very highly recommended from a friend.
yeah.
So I think,
Yes, that's
yeah,
always the best. Yes.
right. And it's also very weird that we have never met in real life, but I always felt like, no, like, I think with the number of lessons that we've had, I feel like, yeah, it was not just kind of a teacher student relationship, but it's also very friendly.
Yeah.
Like, so I think it's a very comfortable environment to learn a language,
Mm.
especially a language that's super strict about its grammar.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I
and
try to find a balance between the horrors of the German language and the joys of it.
yes, I think a teacher can definitely make a lot of difference. I speak that from experience as being a student and also being a teacher
Mm.
currently myself. And yeah, I think I had yeah, I don't know, the great privilege of working with you for my
Me
German, and
too.
I would always recommend you again and again. I would do 100 more testimonials. I would like to make it clear I am not paid to make this testimony.
I'm glad you pointed that out.
Yeah, all of this is coming just because of gratitude. I would just say.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. That's amazing.